I want to share an ayah with you and give you my thoughts. It's ayah 12. And when harm afflicts man, he calls upon us, lying on his side, or sitting, or standing. And then when we remove his affliction from him, he carries on as if he had not called upon us concerning the harm that had befallen him. Thus is that which they used to do made to seem fair unto the prodigal. Bad things happen to us, whether we lose our job or the plane starts to shake and we get scared, or our child is ill. So many times, even those who profess to be non-believers will say a little prayer or a big prayer. You know, they'll say, oh God, please rescue my child, or oh God, please keep us safe, or oh God, please, return my job to me or a better one. It's a way of reaching out beyond one's own abilities. Certain things are just not within our control. Like when our child is sick and, we see them suffering and there's not much we can do to alleviate it. We often call out to God. I don't think that's all that unusual. I mean, obviously in moments of crisis, we draw upon all our resources. And one of those resources is God. But when the crisis is over, and I'm guilty of this for sure, when the crisis is over, we go back to our day-to-day lives with this sort of, idea in our minds of Allah, and that, he may have heard our prayer. But for many people, including myself, it doesn't stick with us, which is exactly what this ayah says. He carries on as if he had not called upon us. Then it says, thus is that which they used to do made to seem fair unto the prodigal. So prodigal is a person who has a lot of money, but just wastes his money. It is well known that the pleasures and delights of this world are very lowly in comparison to the felicities of the abode of the next life. So that's a prodigal person. And in the verse it says, thus is that which they used to do made to seem fair unto the prodigal. So they return to the way they used to live, and it's made to seem fair to them. They're like, yeah, well, I was in crisis, but now that's over, so I'm going to go back to the way I was living before. And I certainly can take a lesson from this. And I think for our own sense of safety, we want to wall off those negative events as isolated events, that they're not part of our day-to-day life, but they are. And I'm not saying you have to live in that despair or agony, but you have to somehow integrate that experience into your everyday life in order to change. Does that make sense?